Welcome to our channel where we explore the timeless stories of the Bible. Today we are excited to share another amazing adventure with you in the book of Genesis, chapter 1 to 3. Before we continue this beautiful story, do well to like, share this video to friends, and subscribe for more beautiful Bible stories like this. Have you ever wondered how humanity got its start? The story most of us have heard is about Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. But what if there's more to it than we think? Get ready to dive into ancient texts, hidden clues, and significance. Creation myths are narratives that cultures around the world have crafted to explain the origins of the universe, the earth, and humanity. These stories, often imbued with profound spiritual and moral lessons, provide insights into the values, beliefs, and worldviews of the societies that tell them. By exploring these myths, we can gain a deeper understanding of how different cultures perceive the cosmos and their place within it. Creation myths serve as a bridge between humanity and the divine, offering explanations for existence and the mysteries of life. A common theme in many creation myths is the concept of a perfect world that existed before a fall or corruption. This idea suggests that the world in its original state was an idyllic paradise where harmony, abundance, and peace prevailed. The fall, often caused by human transgression or the intervention of malevolent forces, introduces suffering, death, and chaos into the world. This transition from perfection to imperfection is a crucial element in understanding human nature and the perceived need for redemption or restoration to a primordial state of grace. In the beginning, there was nothing but a boundless void, an infinite expanse of darkness and silence. From this primordial chaos emerged the divine creator, a being of infinite wisdom and power. The Creator, desiring to bring order and beauty to the void, spoke the word, and with it, the cosmos began to take shape. Stars ignited, planets formed, and the universe blossomed into a magnificent tapestry of light and life. Among the countless celestial bodies, the Creator chose one particular planet to be the cradle of life. This planet, Earth, was sculpted with great care and precision. Majestic mountains rose from the ground, vast oceans filled the basins, and lush forests spread across the land. Every element of nature was crafted to perfection, creating a harmonious and vibrant world teeming with potential. In this perfect world, the Creator introduced the first beings, the ancients. These beings were endowed with incredible knowledge and power, living in harmony with the natural world. They were stewards of the earth, tasked with maintaining its balance and nurturing its growth. The ancients could communicate with the animals, understand the language of the trees, and harness the energies of the elements. They lived in a state of bliss, free from pain, suffering, and conflict. The Creator, pleased with the work, imbued the world with a divine presence, a sacred energy that flowed through all living things. This energy connected everything in a web of life, ensuring that the world remained in a state of perfect harmony. The ancients, aware of their role and responsibilities, revered the Creator and upheld the sanctity of the world. The concept of a perfect world before the fall is deeply rooted in religious and mythological traditions, with one of the most well-known narratives found in the Judeo-Christian story of the Garden of Eden. This paradise, described in the book of Genesis, represents an idealized world where humanity existed in a state of innocence, harmony, and direct communion with God. In the biblical account, God created the first humans, Adam and Eve, and placed them in the Garden of Eden. This garden is depicted as a lush, verdant paradise, abundant with every kind of tree that was pleasing to the eye and good for food. Central to the garden were the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The Garden of Eden was not just a physical space, but a symbolic representation of the perfect state of creation. In this prelapsarian world, Adam and Eve lived in a state of innocence and purity. They were naked and felt no shame, indicating a lack of self-consciousness and the absence of sin. Their relationship with each other was one of pure companionship and equality. Additionally, their relationship with God was direct and unmediated, characterized by trust and obedience. God walked in the garden, and there was an intimate, personal connection between the Creator and His creations. The environment of Eden itself was a reflection of this perfection. The garden was self-sustaining, requiring no labor from Adam and Eve to cultivate it. It was a place of peace, without suffering, death, or decay. The animals coexisted harmoniously, and there was no predation or violence. The natural world and humanity were in perfect balance, reflecting the divine order and the goodness of God's creation. Theologically, the Garden of Eden represents the original state of humanity and the world, as intended by God. It is a world free from sin, where human beings live in obedience to God's will. The existence of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, however, introduces the concept of free will. Adam and Eve were given the freedom to choose, signifying that love and obedience to God must be voluntary. The fall, as described in Genesis, occurs when Adam and Eve are tempted by the serpent to eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This act of disobedience results in the loss of their innocence and the introduction of sin into the world. As a consequence, they are expelled from Eden, marking the end of the perfect state and the beginning of human suffering, toil, and mortality. The narrative of the Garden of Eden before the fall has profound implications for understanding the human condition. It speaks to a longing for a lost paradise and serves as a theological explanation for the presence of evil and suffering in the world. The story encapsulates themes of innocence, free will, and the consequences of disobedience, providing a foundational myth that continues to resonate in religious and philosophical discussions about the nature of humanity and its relationship with the divine. The Garden of Eden before the fall symbolizes an idyllic world where humanity lived in harmony with nature and God, embodying the perfection and purity of God's original creation. The fall from this state marks the transition from innocence to a world marked by sin, labor, and mortality, profoundly shaping the theological understanding of human existence. Eden, a paradise brimming with life and beauty, stretches out like an emerald tapestry, interwoven with streams of crystalline water that glisten under a perpetually radiant sun. The air is imbued with the scent of blossoming flowers and the sweet melody of birdsong, a symphony that complements the gentle rustle of leaves stirred by a tender breeze. Majestic trees, with canopies that reach towards the heavens, stand as ancient sentinels over the lush landscape. Verdant meadows are dotted with vibrant, multicolored flowers that paint the ground with splashes of red, yellow, and blue. Wildlife thrives in harmonious abundance, from the smallest insects to the grandest beasts, all coexisting in a seamless dance of existence. At the heart of this paradisiacal garden stand two remarkable trees, each imbued with profound symbolism. The tree of life, with its sprawling branches and golden fruit, symbolizes immortality and divine sustenance. Its presence is a testament to the eternal life and unending vitality that Eden offers to its inhabitants. In contrast, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil exudes an air of mystery and foreboding. Its dark, gnarled bark and shimmering, forbidden fruit represent the duality of wisdom and temptation. This tree embodies the complex interplay of innocence and awareness, purity and sin that defines the human experience. In the serene expanse of Eden, God prepares to create the first human, marking the pinnacle of his creative work. From the rich, fertile dust of the earth, he begins to shape a form, crafting it with divine precision and profound intent. The dust coalesces into the contours of a man, every sinew and muscle a testament to God's artistry. Finally, with a breath imbued with life itself, God breathed into the nostrils of this lifeless form, endowing him with a living soul. In that moment, the dust was animated, and Adam awakens, eyes opening to the wondrous beauty surrounding him, his soul kindled with divine spark. Adam is formed from the dust of the ground by God, signifying the humble and earthly origins of humanity. Adam's creation from dust underscores his connection to the earth and his role as its steward. This act sets the stage for Adam's unique position as the first human, bearing a direct and intimate creation by God, distinct from all other creatures. Charged with stewardship over Eden, Adam is both a part of nature and its caretaker, embodying the perfect harmony between humanity and the divine. His creation marks the inception of a profound relationship between man and God, setting the stage for the unfolding drama of human existence in this idyllic paradise. The concept of imago Dei refers to the belief that humans are created in the image and likeness of God, a notion introduced with Adam's creation. This theological idea implies that Adam, and by extension all humanity, possesses inherent dignity, value, and the capacity for relationship with the Creator. Imago Dei encompasses attributes such as rationality, moral responsibility, and the ability to create and govern, reflecting God's character. These attributes manifest in his dominion over animals and his role in naming them, symbolizing humanity's authority and responsibility within creation. In Adam, the divine and the earthly were intertwined, making him a living reflection of God's character and intentions. He was created not only to inhabit Eden, but to steward it, to live in harmonious relationship with his Creator, embodying divine purpose and love. The narrative continues with the creation of Eve, the first woman to be Adam's companion. Observing Adam's solitude, God declares that it is not good for man to be alone and decides to make a suitable helper for him. Rather than fashioning her from the earth as he did Adam, God causes Adam to fall into a deep sleep, during which he takes one of Adam's ribs and fashions it into a woman. Upon awakening, Adam recognizes Eve as bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh, acknowledging their shared humanity and intrinsic bond. Eve's creation from Adam's rib symbolizes equality and unity, establishing the foundation for human relationships and community. This act completes the divine image in humanity, emphasizing partnership, complementarity, and the profound connection between man and woman in the human experience. This act of creation is rich with symbolism. The choice of a rib is particularly significant. Unlike the head, which might signify superiority, or the foot, which might suggest subordination, the rib is located in the side of the body, near the heart. This suggests an intended partnership of equals, indicating that Eve was made to stand beside Adam as an equal partner, close to his heart, symbolizing love and mutual support. This narrative underscores the inherent equality in their relationship, highlighting that both man and woman are integral and complementary parts of a whole. Various interpretations of Eve's creation offer further insights into the concepts of equality and difference. Some interpretations emphasize that Adam and Eve, though different in form and function, share the same essence in human dignity. This shared humanity is fundamental to understanding their relationship and the human condition. Both were created in the image of God, reflecting divine qualities and the capacity for relationship, moral decision-making, and creativity. Other interpretations explore the differences between Adam and Eve, often emphasizing the complementary nature of these differences. Eve's creation from Adam's rib can be seen as highlighting the interdependence of men and women. Rather than suggesting a hierarchy, this view celebrates the unique attributes and roles of each gender, proposing that true companionship arises from recognizing and valuing these differences. It is idle to say, the creation of Eve from Adam's rib is a profound story that illustrates the fundamental principles of companionship and shared humanity. It speaks to the equality and mutual respect that should characterize human relationships, while acknowledging the complementary differences that enrich these bonds. This narrative continues to inspire discussions on the nature of human relationships, the dignity of each individual, and the profound interconnectedness of all people. The creation of Eve from Adam's rib is a clear tale that emphasizes the deep bond of companionship and shared humanity between man and woman. According to the biblical narrative in Genesis, after creating Adam, the first man, God declares that it is not good for him to be alone and decides to fashion a suitable companion for him. Instead of forming Eve from the dust of the earth, as he did with Adam, God creates her from one of Adam's ribs while he sleeps. This act symbolizes their interconnectedness and unity, highlighting the idea that they are not separate entities but rather two halves of a whole. The image of Eve being formed from Adam's rib suggests an inherent equality between them. Unlike other creation stories of the time, where woman was often portrayed as subordinate or inferior to man, the biblical account implies that both Adam and Eve are equally essential and share the same human essence. They are not only partners, but also equals in their humanity, each possessing unique qualities that complement one another. At the same time, the manner of Eve's creation also underscores the differences between man and woman. While they are equals in their humanity, they are also distinct beings with complementary roles. Eve's creation from Adam's rib symbolizes her role as his companion and helper, implying a supportive and nurturing relationship between them. This does not imply subordination, but rather highlights the unique strengths and qualities that each brings to their partnership. Interpretations of Eve's creation vary across different religious and cultural contexts. Some view it as a metaphor for the sacred bond of marriage, where husband and wife are seen as equal partners, sharing a deep connection and responsibility towards one another. Others interpret it as a reminder of the importance of mutual respect and understanding between genders, recognizing the inherent dignity and value of both men and women. Overall, the creation of Eve from Adam's rib is a powerful symbol of companionship, equality, and shared humanity. It emphasizes the interconnectedness of man and woman, highlighting their mutual dependence and support for one another. While they may have different roles and qualities, they are ultimately united in their humanity and their journey together as companions on this earth. In the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve lived amidst the abundance of life and the harmony of creation, a creature slithered in the shadows, the serpent, with gleaming scales and eyes that held an unsettling intelligence. The serpent was a creature of beguiling allure. In some interpretations, it is seen as a symbol of temptation, the embodiment of the devil himself, seeking to undermine the divine order. The serpent's cunning nature was evident in its approach to Eve. It didn't resort to force or aggression. Instead, it engaged in a subtle game of manipulation. With honeyed words, the serpent questioned God's commands, planting seeds of doubt in Eve's mind. It cleverly twisted the truth, painting disobedience as a path to enlightenment, promising that partaking of the forbidden fruit would open her eyes and make her like God. The serpent's tactics preyed on Eve's curiosity and her desire for knowledge. Its words were a seductive whisper, urging her to challenge the established boundaries and taste the sweetness of forbidden fruit. In this act of temptation, the serpent played the role of a catalyst, setting in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the course of human history. The fall from grace that followed Eve's transgression was not solely the serpent's doing. It was a culmination of choices made by both Eve and Adam, their free will tested, and ultimately succumbed to temptation. However, the serpent's role cannot be understated. It was the serpent that introduced doubt, the serpent that sowed the seeds of discontent, and the serpent that ultimately lured humanity away from innocence and into the realm of knowledge, pain, and mortality. The serpent's legacy is one of complexity and ambiguity. It is a creature of both fascination and revulsion, a symbol of temptation and the insidious nature of evil. Its story serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the fragility of human will and the ever-present danger of succumbing to the allure of the forbidden. The tree of knowledge of good and evil, a central symbol in the Judeo-Christian tradition, holds profound significance in the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. This tree represents the boundary between innocence and the knowledge of moral duality. When Eve, followed by Adam, eats its forbidden fruit, they gain awareness of good and evil, signifying the loss of innocence and the birth of human consciousness. This act of disobedience marks the transition from a state of pure, unblemished existence to a complex world where moral discernment is necessary. The tree and its forbidden fruit symbolize the dual-edged nature of knowledge. On one hand, knowledge is a powerful and transformative force. It allows individuals to understand the world, make informed decisions, and advance in various aspects of life. This positive aspect of knowledge is evident in the subsequent development of human civilization, characterized by remarkable achievements in science, philosophy, and art. The quest for knowledge drives progress and innovation, embodying the human spirit's relentless pursuit of understanding and mastery over nature. However, the story of the tree of knowledge also highlights the negative consequences of unbridled curiosity and the pursuit of forbidden knowledge. The act of eating the fruit is an archetypal symbol of temptation and a lure so powerful that it compels individuals to cross established boundaries, often with significant repercussions. This moment of yielding to temptation introduces sin, suffering, and mortality into the human experience, illustrating the potential dangers of seeking knowledge without wisdom or ethical considerations. Temptation, as depicted through the serpent's coaxing of Eve, underscores the seductive nature of forbidden desires. The serpent's promise that eating the fruit will make Eve and Adam like God, knowing good and evil, taps into a fundamental human aspiration, the desire for greater understanding and power. This mirrors the human tendency to be drawn towards the unknown and the prohibited, driven by curiosity and the belief that such knowledge will elevate their status or improve their condition. In a broader philosophical context, the story of the forbidden fruit raises questions about the human condition and the paradox of knowledge. While knowledge can lead to enlightenment and growth, it also comes with the burden of moral responsibility and the potential for ethical missteps. The tree of knowledge thus serves as a powerful symbol of the inherent tension between the pursuit of intellectual advancement and the moral and existential challenges that such knowledge entails. Eve stood beneath the boughs of the tree of knowledge, her eyes fixed on the fruit that gleamed with an almost otherworldly allure. The Garden of Eden, with its lush flora and serene beauty, seemed to fade away as her thoughts turned inward, consumed by a burgeoning conflict that twisted and turned in her mind. From the moment the serpent's words had slithered into her ears, Eve had been battling a storm of curiosity. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? The serpent had asked, its voice a tantalizing whisper that hinted at secrets and truths unspoken. Eve's response had been confident, yet the seed of doubt had been planted. She had repeated God's command, but the serpent's sly retort, "You will not surely die," had struck a chord deep within her, resonating with a curiosity that she had never fully acknowledged. As Eve considered the fruit, she felt a stirring of emotions she couldn't quite name. There was the pull of the unknown, the allure of forbidden knowledge, and the intoxicating possibility of becoming wise, of understanding good and evil as God did. The serpent's promise that eating the fruit would open her eyes and make her like God had ignited a spark within her, a longing to grasp the mysteries of the universe and transcend the innocence that defined her existence. Eve's agency in this moment was paramount. The decision to reach out and pluck the fruit was hers alone, a testament to the free will bestowed upon her by God. She knew the commandment, understood the gravity of disobedience, yet she also recognized her own autonomy. In the depths of her being, she felt a desire to assert her independence, to make a choice that was uniquely her own. This was not merely a passive succumbing to temptation, but an active, deliberate act of will. As she weighed her decision, Eve also grappled with her sense of responsibility. She was aware that her actions would have consequences, not just for herself, but for Adam and the entire creation. The burden of this knowledge was heavy, yet it did not deter her. Instead, it fueled her resolve, as if she felt an obligation to explore the full extent of her humanity, to push the boundaries of her existence even if it meant stepping into the unknown. Finally, with a deep breath and a heart pounding with anticipation and fear, Eve made her choice. She reached out, her fingers brushing the smooth, cool surface of the fruit before grasping it firmly. As she brought it to her lips and took a bite, a rush of sensations overwhelmed her. The sweetness of the fruit, the rush of new awareness, and the shattering realization of what she had done. In that moment, Eve's curiosity had triumphed. Her desire for knowledge had overcome her fear of disobedience, and her assertion of agency had led her down a path from which there was no return. The repercussions of her decision would echo through eternity, but for Eve it was a moment of profound transformation, a leap into the unknown driven by the deepest impulses of the human spirit. The immediate consequences of eating the forbidden fruit by Adam and Eve are multifaceted and deeply profound. As soon as Adam and Eve eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they become acutely aware of their nakedness. This is a stark contrast to their previous state of innocence, where they were unaware and unashamed of their physical state. This newfound awareness is more than just physical. It represents a profound psychological shift. They move from a state of pure innocence to a complex awareness of self and others, fundamentally altering their perception of themselves and their relationship with each other. The immediate reaction to their awareness is a sense of shame. They feel exposed and vulnerable, prompting them to cover themselves with fig leaves. This act of covering symbolizes a desire to hide their true selves and a recognition of their vulnerability. This sense of embarrassment and discomfort is a powerful and distressing new experience for Adam and Eve. It signifies the loss of their pure, untainted relationship with their bodies and with each other. Their newfound awareness and shame also lead them to hide from God. When they hear God walking in the garden, they conceal themselves, illustrating a newfound fear and estrangement from their Creator. This marks the beginning of a fractured relationship between humanity and God. The act of hiding signifies a loss of trust and openness that previously characterized their relationship with God. This estrangement is a profound spiritual consequence, as they are now aware of their disobedience and its implications. By eating the fruit, Adam and Eve gain the knowledge of good and evil. This knowledge brings with it a moral awareness that they did not possess before. They now understand the concepts of right and wrong, which adds a layer of complexity to their existence. With this knowledge comes the burden of moral responsibility. They are now accountable for their actions in a way they were not before, and this awareness fundamentally changes their lives. The immediate consequences also affect the relationship between Adam and Eve. Their mutual shame and the act of covering themselves indicate a newfound self-consciousness and a barrier between them. The innocence and transparency that once characterized their relationship are now compromised. This event sets the stage for future blame and conflict. When confronted by God, Adam blames Eve, and Eve blames the serpent, illustrating the introduction of discord and defensiveness into human relationships. The immediate consequences of eating the forbidden fruit are profound and multifaceted, marking a pivotal moment in the human narrative. Adam and Eve's newfound awareness of their nakedness, the accompanying shame and discomfort, the spiritual separation from God, and the shift in relational dynamics all highlight the depth of their transgression. These events underscore the complexity of human existence, the loss of innocence, and the beginning of a long journey toward redemption and reconciliation. By reflecting on these consequences, we gain insight into the profound impact of disobedience and the enduring quest for understanding, connection, and grace. The second point is the awareness of mortality. When Adam and Eve eat the forbidden fruit, they are suddenly aware of their own mortality. This is a drastic shift from their previous state in the Garden of Eden, where they lived in a state of potential immortality. The act of eating the fruit marks the introduction of death into human existence. God's declaration, "For dust you are, and to dust you will return," underscores the finality and inevitability of death as a consequence of their disobedience. This pronouncement is a stark reminder of their new, finite nature. The awareness of mortality brings with it the loss of the potential for eternal life. Adam and Eve's existence is now bounded by time, and they must grapple with the reality of an endpoint to their lives. This realization is a heavy burden and a significant shift in their understanding of existence. Along with mortality comes the fear of the unknown. Adam and Eve must now face the anxiety of not knowing what comes after death, adding a layer of existential dread to their lives. This fear is a new and unsettling experience for them, fundamentally altering their perception of the world. In the beginning, Adam and Eve lived in harmony with their surroundings, content within the boundaries of the Garden of Eden. They were unaware of the greater complexities and potential powers that lay beyond their immediate experience. Over time, a sense of curiosity and ambition began to stir within them. This drive led them to question what lay beyond the boundaries of their perfect world. The forbidden fruit, representing the knowledge of good and evil, became a focal point for their desire to understand and control their environment. Driven by a desire for power and knowledge, Adam and Eve began to experiment with the sacred energy within the garden. They sought to unlock its secrets and bend it to their will, hoping to harness this divine force for their own purposes. Their ambition and experimentation with sacred energy led to their downfall. The act of eating the forbidden fruit was a manifestation of their desire to transcend their given roles and attain a godlike understanding and control over their world. This hubris led to their expulsion from Eden and the introduction of suffering and mortality into human life. The story of Adam and Eve's fall from grace introduces the concept of mortality to the human condition. This awareness of death has profound implications for human psychology. shaping our understanding of life's meaning and the urgency to make the most of our time. Ambition and knowledge. The tale also speaks to the human desire for knowledge and power. Adam and Eve's actions symbolize the eternal human quest for understanding and mastery over the world. This quest drives progress and innovation, but also carries the potential for hubris and downfall. The narrative underscores the consequences of disobedience and overreaching ambition. Adam and Eve's punishment serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of striving for power and knowledge beyond our limits and the importance of adhering to divine or moral laws. The story encourages a balance between curiosity and humility. While the desire to explore and understand the world is intrinsic to human nature, it is equally important to recognize our limitations and approach our quest for knowledge with respect and caution. The awareness of mortality introduced by Adam and Eve's disobedience profoundly impacts human existence. It brings with it a loss of innocence, the introduction of fear and anxiety, and a fundamental shift in the human understanding of life and death. Their story also highlights the human drive for knowledge and power, illustrating the potential consequences of overreaching ambition. By reflecting on these lessons, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of the human condition and the importance of balancing our innate curiosity with humility and respect for the greater forces at play. The last point is the expulsion from Eden. The expulsion from the Garden of Eden is the ultimate consequence of Adam and Eve's disobedience. After they eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, God takes decisive action to prevent them from accessing the tree of life, which would grant them eternal life despite their fallen state. This expulsion signifies a profound separation from the direct presence and fellowship with God. In Eden, Adam and Eve enjoyed an intimate relationship with their Creator, walking and conversing with Him in a perfect environment. Their disobedience disrupts this harmony, creating a chasm between humanity and the divine. The act of driving them out of Eden symbolizes the broader spiritual distance that now exists between humans and God. This separation highlights the gravity of their sin and its impact on their relationship with the divine. Once expelled, Adam and Eve are sent to live in a world that contrasts sharply with the paradise they once inhabited. Eden was a place of abundance, peace, and effortless provision. Outside Eden, they encounter a harsh reality characterized by hard labor, pain, and suffering. God's pronouncements over Adam and Eve include specific curses that define their new existence. For Adam, the ground is cursed to produce thorns and thistles, and he must toil to produce food. For Eve, the pain of childbirth is greatly increased, and her relationship with Adam becomes marked by strife and struggle. This transition from Eden to the outside world symbolizes the human condition post-fall, marked by struggle, hardship, and the constant tension between striving for survival and seeking spiritual redemption. The expulsion introduces suffering as a fundamental aspect of human life. This includes physical pain, emotional distress, and the existential burden of mortality and separation from God. The harsh reality faced by Adam and Eve underscores the need for redemption. Their expulsion sets the stage for the overarching narrative of salvation found in the Bible, where humanity's reconciliation with God becomes the central theme. Their story serves as a cautionary story about the consequences of disobedience and the importance of living in alignment with divine principles. It teaches about the need for humility, repentance, and the hope for eventual restoration. The expulsion from the Garden of Eden is a pivotal event that marks the beginning of humanity's life in a world of toil, pain, and suffering. It signifies a profound separation from God and introduces the human experience of hardship and mortality. However, this narrative also sets the stage for the journey towards redemption and reconciliation, offering a framework for understanding the challenges of human existence and the hope for eventual restoration. Through this story, we learn about the consequences of disobedience, the importance of humility, and the enduring promise of divine grace. In essence, the immediate consequences of eating the forbidden fruit, shame, awareness of mortality, and expulsion from Eden lead to the broader theological construct of original sin. This concept profoundly influences Christian thought, explaining the human condition and the need for divine grace and redemption. As Adam and Eve took their final steps out of Eden, they looked back one last time at the paradise they once called home. They knew that ahead of them lay a world full of challenges and hardships, but also of growth, discovery, and the chance to forge their own destinies. Hand in hand, they stepped into the unknown, ready to embrace their new life with courage and hope. What if their story was just the beginning of an even greater adventure? How do you think their legacy shaped the world we live in today? Let's explore the deeper meanings and implications of their journey together. Share your thoughts, like, and comment below to join the conversation. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel to stay connected on our amazing Bible stories. God bless you.